Hi there, this is Zara. My final manga recommendation is Claudine. Before I begin discussing this manga, I do think the manga should be called Claude and not Claudine. I feel very passionately about this. I was reading it last night again, and I was so annoyed how they keep calling it Claudine. The manga is about Claudine of Montes, who prefers to go by the name Claude. He is a transgender male, transitioned from female to male, although not surgically. He identifies as a man, basically, and is born into a French noble family during the 20th century, and the family already has 3 sons. Claude is enigmatic and extremely romantic, but also struggles to reconcile the fact that he was born a female. The manga discusses issues of homophobia and transphobia in the 20th century, with several of Cloud's romantic interests being hesitant to date him as he is still perceived to be a woman to the rest of society. His mother in particular seems to be very against him finding love because she sees it as love between 2 women and not love between a man and a woman. She doesn't accept that Cloud is actually a man and identifies as a man. During one of the romantic interests, she finds out about it happening and then intervenes to prevent Cloud from continuing to fall in love. She also forces Cloud to go to a doctor to seek help. However, the doctor actually does conclude that Cloud is transgender. Cloud's father, in comparison, is very encouraging of Cloud and allows him to live the way he wants. Although he doesn't actually actively help Cloud, particularly when his mother sends him off to the doctors. His father doesn't really help. He's just in the background. He only appears every now and then. It's also revealed in the later in the manga that Cloud's father has been cheating on his wife with a man and a woman. Hence, his lack of action actually might be due to a concern of himself being outed, and he doesn't want other people to know that he's bi. I think it's also interesting to note in the manga that all of the characters suggested to be LGBTQ+ are shown to be highly emotional to the point of irrationality. Furthermore, all of Cloud's romantic interests all end up falling into a heteronormative relationship. There is also an issue that Cloud is referred to as she in the narrative, although I think this might be due to when the manga was published. The manga was published in 1975. It's only 1 volume. I think it's a great tragedy that the manga is only 1 volume, as its art style is very different from other mangas I've looked at, and it has it gives it a very different feel. It makes you feel like you're actually in France and everything, because it's got such a different style. And I also think it feels like it's part of Cloud's personality, the art style. It feels very free-flowing, I would say. Just like Cloud's personality is very relaxed and he's kind of just up for anything. The only issue I have with the art style is that you can't tell the adult Cloud from the child Cloud. It's weird because at the beginning, that you can obviously see how he's a child, and then suddenly he gets to 10 years old in one bit, and he looks like an adult, and I'm just sat there like, he wouldn't look like an adult at 10 years old, and you just can't tell he's a kid. They needed to make it a bit more obvious that he was a kid. I also sometimes found it really hard to understand what was happening in the plot because it was going so quickly. I think it'd be really nice if it was remade today, and you could make it into a really long series of manga, which could go much deeper into the relationships he had, especially with his father, his mother, his 3 brothers, because his 3 brothers are barely mentioned in it. Yeah, so I think it would be really interesting to do that, and then also have him understand himself a lot better. They have a lot of mentions of him seeming to be good friends with his doctor, and I think that would be really interesting to have a bit more of a closer analysis at. I also want to preemptively warn you that there is a suicide scene in the manga, so please be warned. If you don't want to see it, do not pick this up. Or, if you find out what pages the suicide is on, you could just skip past them and you'll be fine. Admittedly, it's a big thing in the plot, so yeah, no, the suicide was very upsetting, for me. Yeah, I was really upset because I didn't, you just didn't kind of see it happening, basically, gonna happen. He did, the character didn't show any signs of being suicidal before. I mean, they did. When you think about it, the character did show signs of being suicidal before, but you didn't really think about it at the time, and then suddenly the suicide happens and you're like, oh shit. It has, I was like, what's happened here? What? I don't understand. And I was just like, oh god, yeah. yeah, he just completely missed off the suicidal tendencies, and I was like, oh shit, like, yeah, I was really upsetting. So the suicide is very upsetting in it. I will pre-warn you of that. Yeah, it was rough to watch. Well, rough to read. Anyway, I want to get to my conclusion now. I just want to take the time at the end of this video to suggest 5 LGBTQ plus charities to donate to if you're interested. I'm going to pop links in the description for easy access. My first suggestion is Stonewall. They are a UK charity who does work in other countries too. They are looking to ensure there is an enforceable ban on conversion therapy across the UK. They are also looking to ensure that hate crime and hate speech laws are created to protect LGBTQ plus communities. And they also looking to challenge religiously informed discrimination. I know from my own experience, I've only been to Pride once, which because I get very nervous about going to Pride. I prefer to go with a friend. I would never go by myself because I get I'm very socially inept. The only time we've been, I went with a very good friend of mine, and we also went with another friend, and there was an ultra-religious group campaigning, like right in the middle of where we started on the march, and I was like, what the fuck? Yes. And yeah, and the police were basically not doing anything about it. And my friend went over and talked to the police and was like, you've got to sort this out right now. You know, they shouldn't be talking here. They shouldn't be, you know, we should be allowed to celebrate. And the police were just like, well, we can't do anything. You know, they got freedom of speech. Yeah, but like if we were football fans and they were like an opposite football team, they would be pushed away. They would be told to disperse. Because they would be causing trouble. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, that could have so easily ended with some violence, and it just makes you feel unsafe there, basically. I don't understand why they treat it any different. Charity number 2 is All Out. It's a global charity which is fighting to ensure that no one has to lose their family or freedom due to who they are or who they love. They are currently trying to work to take action against Hungary's anti-LGBTQ+ law, which was put in place in 2020 and made it illegal for same-sex couples to adopt and impossible for people to change their gender. Charity number 3 is Born This Way. It helps LGBTQ+ young people with their mental health, aiming to make the world kinder and braver. The foundation was set up by Lady Gaga and her mother Cynthia Germanota. This program connects people to resources and services on and offline to help support them. Charity number 4 is London Gamers. I love playing video games, which we will probably see at some point, because I keep wanting to talk about Crusader Kings, or play Crusader Kings, because I absolutely fucking love that. I thought this charity would basically be a good fit for me to talk about. The charity started in 2012, and seeks to establish a social group for LGBTQ plus gamers to make friends and socialise. They have a Discord that people can join, which you can find on their website, and they are also active on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. My final charity recommendation is ACT. They support LGBTQ plus people suffering from homelessness after coming out. I know quite a few people who have been chucked out after coming out, and they've basically struggled to find a better place to live. And I also know that I've had quite a few times when I've nearly become homeless, and if I'd known about this charity, it would probably be very helpful. Since the charity started in 1989, it has helped 50,000 young people, assisting them to find safe accommodation and helping them to get back on their feet. I understand if you don't have any money to donate. We're in a terrible time at the moment where some people have lots of money and some people don't have much. I have no money, so I have absolutely nothing. I just want to raise some awareness for some LGBTQ plus charities that are out there, so that some people can be aware of them, and if you need them in the future, then you know where to go. Anyway, have a good day. Take care. Bye.